Molly sat on the porch, her gaze fixed on the old oak tree that had witnessed the passage of time much like she had. The warm afternoon sun cast a golden hue on the worn wooden planks beneath her rocking chair. She sighed, reminiscing about the days when the laughter of her 5 children echoed through the halls of their family home. As Molly reflected on her life, her thoughts turned to Clark, her son who still resided in their hometown. The once vibrant relationship with Clark had evolved into a distant connection, thanks to the imposing presence of Carla, Clark's wife. The walls of their home seemed to thicken with each passing year, and Molly found herself relegated to the periphery of Frank's life, her 12-year-old grandson. The distant sound of children playing in the neighborhood brought a bittersweet smile to Molly's face. She couldn't help but wonder about the experiences she was missing with Frank. The echoes of his laughter, the stories of his school adventures, all filtered through Carla's selective lens. Molly took a deep breath, her mind wrestling with the conundrum of respecting her son's choices while yearning for a more significant presence in Frank's life. A delicate balance, she thought, as she rocked back and forth, the creaking of the chair echoing her internal conflicts. Later that evening, Molly reached for the phone on the small table beside her rocking chair. She dialed Clark's number, a mixture of hope and apprehension coursing through her veins. "Hey, Mom," Clark's voice came through the phone. "Hi, Clark. How's everything?" Molly asked, trying to keep her tone light. "Oh, the usual. Carla's busy with work, and Frank's buried in his books. How about you?" "I'm good, dear. Just thinking about you all. It's been a while. Mind if I drop by this weekend?" There was a momentary pause on the other end. Mom, I'm not sure if this weekend works for us. Carla's got some plans, and Frank has his activities." Molly's heart sank a little, but she masked her disappointment. "Sure, no problem. Just let me know when it's convenient." "Will do, Mom. Take care." As the call ended, Molly stared out into the evening sky, a nagging worry settling in her chest. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss in her son's household, something beyond the physical distance that separated them. The days stretched on, and Molly's concern for her grandson, Frank, gnawed at her like an insatiable hunger. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across Molly's living room, the phone rang, interrupting the quiet solitude. With a hint of anticipation, Molly answered, "Hello." The voice on the other end was shaky, muffled by stifled sobs. "Grandma, it's Frank." Molly's heart skipped a beat. "Frank? What's wrong, sweetheart? Why are you crying?" Amidst the tears and hiccups, Frank managed to articulate his anguish. "Grandma, you've got to help me. She's been awful. I can't take it anymore." Molly's grip on the phone tightened, her own eyes misting over. "What happened, Frank? You can tell me. I'm here for you." Between ragged breaths, Frank recounted the escalating hostility at home, the constant berating, and the physical pain inflicted upon him. Molly's stomach churned with a mix of disbelief and maternal protectiveness. "Grandma, please, I can't endure this any longer. She's like a devil when Dad's not around. You have to save me." Molly, her voice unwavering, tried to soothe Frank's distress. "Oh, sweetheart, it can't be that bad. Your mom loves you. Maybe you two just had a rough patch." But Frank, desperate for understanding, insisted, "No, Grandma, you don't understand. She's not what she seems. She's evil. Please, you've got to believe me." A chill ran down Molly's spine, her maternal instincts conflicting with her disbelief. "Frank, maybe we should talk to your parents about this. Work things out as a family." "No, Grandma, you don't get it. If I tell them, it'll only get worse. You're my only hope. Please, you have to do something." The weight of Frank's plea settled heavily on Molly's shoulders. She took a deep breath, her mind racing, torn between trusting her daughter-in-law and protecting her grandson. "Okay, Frank, I'll see what I can do. But we must be careful, all right." "Thank you, Grandma. I knew I could count on you. Please hurry." As Molly hung up, a mix of worry and determination etched across her face. She couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that Frank's plea held a truth she wasn't ready to face. Molly sat in her dimly lit study, the glow from the desk lamp casting a warm circle of light in the room. The weight of Frank's desperate call hung heavily in the air, and Molly knew she had to act. Her heart pounded with a mix of concern and uncertainty. Unable to shake the haunting images painted by Frank's words, Molly decided to take matters into her own hands. She navigated her computer to discreetly research hidden cameras, an unsettling task she never imagined herself undertaking. As she scrolled through product reviews and specifications, the gravity of the situation weighed on her. The door creaked open, and Molly quickly minimized the browser window. Clark, her son, stood in the doorway, his brows furrowed in curiosity. "Mom, what are you up to?" "Oh, just browsing online. You know me, always curious about something," Molly replied, forcing a smile. Clark stepped into the room, a hint of skepticism in his eyes. "Everything okay, Mom? You seem a bit off." Molly hesitated, then decided to be transparent. "Clark, I got a call from Frank. He sounded really upset. Is everything all right at home?" Clark's expression shifted from curiosity to guarded concern. "Mom, it's just the usual teenage drama. You know how kids are at his age. They exaggerate." Molly furrowed her brows, her concern deepening. "Clark, I can't shake the feeling that something's not right. I want to visit this weekend, just to catch up." Clark sighed, a mix of reluctance and frustration evident in his voice. "Mom, we've got plans this weekend. I promise, everything's fine. Frank's just going through a phase." Unconvinced, Molly nodded. "All right, dear. If you say so. I just miss you all. It's been too long." As Clark left the room, Molly returned to her research on hidden cameras, the weight of doubt lingering in her mind. She couldn't shake the feeling that there were shadows of truth lurking beneath the surface of her son's reassurances. Later that night, as Molly ordered a discreet camera online, she couldn't help but wonder if unveiling the shadows would bring answers, or if she was plunging herself into a realm of family secrets she never anticipated. The discreetly packaged hidden camera arrived at Molly's doorstep, a silent accomplice in her quest to unravel the mysteries within her son's household. Her hands trembled as she unpacked the device, realizing the gravity of what she was about to do. Choosing a strategic location in Frank's room, Molly set up the camera with a sense of trepidation. The soft hum of the device served as a constant reminder that it was now a silent witness to the intimate moments of her grandson's life. Days turned into nights as Molly patiently waited, her anticipation heightened by the knowledge that the camera held the key to unlocking the truth. The minutes crawled by, each one laced with a mixture of anxiety and hope. One evening, as the soft glow of the monitor illuminated her face, Molly watched the footage unfold. Frank, engrossed in his books, seemed oblivious to the camera's watchful eye. The room, once a sanctuary of innocence, now became the stage for a disturbing revelation. Carla, Frank's mother, entered the room with an unsettling calmness. Molly's breath caught as she witnessed the transformation from a seemingly ordinary woman to the perpetrator of unspeakable acts. The screen displayed scenes of physical aggression, verbal abuse, and the anguish etched on Frank's face. Molly's eyes welled with tears as the silent witness captured the heartbreaking reality of her grandson's life. The more she saw, the deeper the wound of betrayal grew. Yet, amidst the despair, A flicker of determination ignited within her. Unable to contain her emotions, Molly dialed Clark's number, her voice shaky but resolute. "Clark, we need to talk. It's about Frank." A pause lingered on the other end before Clark reluctantly responded, "What's wrong, Mom?" "I've seen something, Clark. Something that shouldn't be happening in our family. We need to confront it together." There was a moment of silence before Clark sighed. "Fine, Mom. I'll come over tomorrow. We'll talk." As the call ended, Molly stared at the screen, the silent witness continuing its vigil. The truth had emerged, and the path ahead was uncertain, but Molly knew she couldn't turn a blind eye any longer. The silent witness had spoken, and now it was time for the family to find its voice. The next day, tension hung thick in the air as Molly awaited Clark's arrival. The weight of the truth pressed on her shoulders, and the once familiar walls of her home felt unfamiliar, as if holding their breath in anticipation of the storm that was about to be unleashed. As Clark entered, Molly could see the concern etched on his face. "Mom, what's going on? You sounded serious on the phone." Molly motioned for Clark to sit, her eyes conveying a mixture of sorrow and determination. "Clark, I need you to watch something. It's about Frank." Confusion furrowed Clark's brow as Molly played the footage from the hidden camera. The room filled with the sound of Frank's laughter, but the atmosphere quickly shifted as Carla entered, revealing the dark underbelly of the household. Clark's eyes widened, and his hand involuntarily covered his mouth as the truth unfolded before him. The pain in Molly's heart deepened as she saw her son grapple with the reality that had been concealed from him. "What is this, Mom? Is this some kind of sick joke?" Clark's voice trembled, his disbelief mingled with a growing realization. Molly, her voice steady but laced with sorrow, replied, "I wish it were, Clark. But this is what's happening to Frank when you're not around." A heavy silence settled in the room, broken only by the muted sobs captured on the screen. Clark's eyes flickered between the footage and his mother, the weight of truth sinking in. "We have to do something, Clark. We can't let this continue," Molly urged, her voice filled with a resolve born out of maternal love. Clark, torn between loyalty to his family and the duty to protect his son, finally spoke. I had no idea, Mom. I can't believe this is happening." Molly nodded, her eyes locking onto her son's. "We need to confront Carla, address this as a family. Frank deserves better." As the two of them prepared to face the storm that awaited them, Molly couldn't help but feel a sense of empowerment. The truth, once concealed in the shadows, had been unveiled, and now it was time to bring it into the harsh light of day. The air in the living room felt charged as Molly and Clark braced themselves for the impending confrontation. Frank, unaware of the storm brewing, continued his homework in the next room, a stark contrast to the heavy atmosphere surrounding his family. Carla walked in, her usual composed demeanor faltering slightly as she sensed the tension. "What's going on? Why do you both look so serious?" she asked, glancing between Molly and Clark. Molly took a deep breath, her resolve unwavering. "Sit down, Carla. We need to talk." Carla raised an eyebrow, her curiosity tinged with a hint of apprehension. "Talk about what?" Clark, unable to meet his wife's eyes, gestured towards the television screen where the footage from the hidden camera played. The room fell into an uneasy silence as the truth unfolded before Carla's eyes. She watched the scenes of her own actions, the facade of her composed exterior crumbling with each revelation. "I can explain," she stammered, her voice betraying a mixture of guilt and desperation. Molly's gaze remained steady. "Explain? There's no justification for what you've done to Frank. No child deserves this." Clark, finding his voice, demanded answers. "Carla, how could you? Why would you do this to our son? Carla, cornered by the weight of her actions, struggled to find words. He's difficult. He needs discipline. I thought I was doing what was best for him. Molly, her voice edged with disappointment, retorted, Discipline is one thing, Carla. Abuse is another. You've crossed a line, and it ends now. Frank, sensing the tension, cautiously entered the room. His eyes widened as he saw the expressions on his family's faces. What's happening? Molly stepped forward, a protective instinct taking over. Frank, we know what's been going on. You don't have to endure this any longer. Carla, realizing the magnitude of her actions, attempted to salvage the situation. Frank, sweetheart, I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just that you're a handful sometimes, and I thought. Frank, tears streaming down his face, interrupted, No more excuses. Mom, I want to stay with Grandma. I can't live like this. Molly, gathering Frank into her arms, nodded at Clark. We need to ensure Frank's safety. This ends now. As the confrontation unfolded, the lines of betrayal and healing began to intertwine, setting the stage for the family's journey towards redemption and forgiveness. In the aftermath of the confrontation, a heavy silence loomed over the household. The weight of truth had carved a rift, and the family stood at the crossroads of acknowledgement and redemption. Carla, her composed facade shattered, sat on the edge of the sofa, avoiding eye contact with Molly and Clark. The room felt stifling as the unspoken acknowledgement of her actions lingered in the air. Clark, torn between the loyalty to his wife and the undeniable evidence before him, finally broke the silence. Carla, we can't ignore this. We have to face what's happened and find a way forward. Carla, her voice fragile, responded, I didn't realize it had gone this far. I thought I was just disciplining him, teaching him right from wrong. Molly, her maternal instincts in full force, held back her anger, opting for understanding. Carla, there's a difference between discipline and abuse. We need to ensure that Frank is safe and that this never happens again. Clark, searching for a middle ground, added, We have to get help, Carla. This isn't something we can handle on our own. Carla, her reluctance giving way to a reluctant admission of guilt, nodded. I'll do whatever it takes. I didn't mean for it to escalate like this. Molly, ever the matriarch, suggested, We need to seek professional help, counseling, therapy, whatever it takes to understand and address the root of this issue. Frank, standing on the periphery, observed the scene with a mixture of relief and trepidation. He spoke up, his voice steady despite the emotional turmoil. I just want to live without fear, Grandma. Can we make that happen? Molly embraced Frank, her resolve unwavering. We will, sweetheart. We'll make sure you have the love and security every child deserves. As the family tentatively acknowledged the need for professional intervention, the reluctant admission became a pivotal moment in their journey toward healing. The path ahead was uncertain, but the acknowledgement of the problem marked the first step towards rebuilding trust and restoring the shattered bonds within the family. The days that followed the confrontation were tumultuous as the family navigated the complexities of seeking legal intervention. The once familiar home became a battleground of emotions as they grappled with the aftermath of Carla's actions. Molly, determined to ensure Frank's safety, consulted with legal professionals to explore options for custody. The specter of a legal battle cast a shadow over the family, forcing them to confront the harsh realities of their situation. One evening, as the family gathered in the living room to discuss the impending legal proceedings, tension filled the air. Molly, armed with information from her legal consultations, addressed Clark and Carla. We need to face the legal aspects of this for Frank's sake. It's the only way to ensure his well-being. Clark, torn between his loyalty to his wife and the desire to protect his son, hesitated. "Mom, can't we resolve this within the family? Dragging it into court will only make things worse." Molly, resolute, replied, "Clark, we tried addressing it within the family, and it led us here. We need legal protection for Frank. It's not just about punishment. It's about ensuring he has a safe and stable environment." Carla, her voice strained, interjected, "Clark, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this right. We don't need to involve the courts." Frank, his gaze fixed on the legal papers scattered on the coffee table, spoke up, "Grandma, I want to stay with you. I don't want to go back to that house." Molly, her heart heavy with the weight of responsibility, placed a comforting hand on Frank's shoulder. "We're doing this to make sure you're safe, sweetheart. It's not about punishment. It's about protecting you." As the family grappled with the difficult decision of involving the legal system, the room echoed with the clash of conflicting emotions. The legal battle ahead would test the strength of their bonds and ultimately determine the course of Frank's future. The legal battle cast a long shadow over the family, each day marked by uncertainty and emotional turmoil. As court dates loomed, the once tight-knit unit found themselves navigating uncharted waters. Molly, armed with legal representation, stood firm in her resolve to provide Frank with a stable and loving home. The courtroom became a battleground where the family's darkest secrets were laid bare, scrutinized by the impartial eyes of the law. As the proceedings unfolded, tensions peaked and emotions ran high. Clark, torn between his loyalty to his wife and the undeniable evidence against her, found himself grappling with the harsh reality of their situation. "I never thought it would come to this," he admitted to Molly one evening, his eyes reflecting a mix of regret and sorrow. Molly, her heart heavy but unwavering, responded, "Clark, we're doing what's best for Frank. This isn't about blame. It's about ensuring he has a chance at a normal, happy childhood." Carla, facing the consequences of her actions, underwent a transformation of sorts. In a moment of vulnerability, she confided in Molly, "I never meant for it to go this far. I need help, and I want to change. For Frank." Molly, recognizing the sincerity in Carla's words, acknowledged, "Change is a process, Carla. We all need to work towards healing for Frank's sake." The court's decision, when it finally came, marked the turning point for the family. Frank, now legally under Molly's guardianship, faced a future untethered from the shadows of abuse. The weight of the legal battle lifted, paving the way for a new beginning. As they left the courtroom, Frank, holding Molly's hand, looked up with a tentative smile. "Can we go home now, Grandma?" Molly, her eyes brimming with both relief and hope, replied, "Yes, sweetheart. Home." The family, scared but resilient, embarked on the journey of rebuilding. The scars of the legal battle would forever be etched in their memories, but it was also a testament to their collective strength and determination to forge a brighter, safer future. In the quiet moments that followed, as they stepped into the next chapter of their lives, the echoes of a new beginning reverberated through the once tumultuous halls of their family history.